Let's jump in here. NFC West, Bucky. You're going to start us off. The 49ers, picks number 7 and pick 37. This is a team finished 5-11 last year. They need some help. Help them out.
I am going to try and find them 2 blue-chip players. This is a dream scenario. I don't know if this top guy, Miles Jack, is going to be available at number 7. But let's just say it breaks for them, and they have an opportunity to get a guy to me, is a perfect pairing with NaVorro Bowman. NaVorro Bowman is the rock on the interior of their defense. When they had NaVorro Bowman and Patrick Willis, they were able to really dominate people from inside out. I'm saying that if they're there, Chip Kelly has a great understanding of who Miles Jack is. He obviously was in the recruiting process when Miles Jack was coming out, so he knows a little bit about the background. We've seen what he does on tape. I believe you put him in the center of that defense, they're ready to rock. And then in the second round, Tyler Boyd. Tyler Boyd is an intriguing playmaker from Pittsburgh, a guy who may be a little undervalued based on the explosive numbers and measurables, but when you look at how he plays, he has all the stuff that you look for as a guy that could eventually ascend first as a number 2 receiver and maybe eventually anchors the passing game as a number 1 receiver. I think he'd be a great fit for San Francisco, particularly with Anquan Boldin no longer being in the mix.
By the way, I had to leave early today, but did you end up knocking out Tyler Boyd?
I did talk to Tyler Boyd, and he has a bit of a chip on his shoulder from way, way, way back. Old school, high school guy. He let it go. But it was good. It was insightful. He has some good things to say on tape.
You can check that out, by the way, on our Move the Sticks 360 series. That'll be up, I'm sure, in the next week or so. Bucky's conversation with Tyler Boyd. All right, the Rams. And, again, I got to get used to this. The L.A. Rams, not the St. Louis Rams. Pick 15, pick 43, Bucky. I'm going to go 15. I'm going to go Laquan Treadwell. Give him a big wide receiver, okay, a true number 1 type wide out that can work in the middle of the field, give him some size, can be physical in there. He's reliable. I think he'll be nice to team up with a guy like a Tavon Austin. You can move around and can do some gadget things. This is just a pure physical wide receiver that I think would give them a number 1 target there in the passing game. And then coming back in pick number 43, second round, if they don't go quarterback at 15, they got to come back with a quarterback at 43, and that's where I have Connor Cook out of Michigan State going to the Rams. I think he'd be a good fit here. Somebody, obviously, the pro-style experience. I think he's ready to play right away with this team and the supporting cast they'd have around him, especially with Todd Gurley in the backfield and now a Treadwell out wide. I think Connor Cook, if he were to get there at 43, would be a great pick for the Rams.
I think he'd be a really good pick. I think it's a good fit because he plays in an offense at Michigan State that is very similar, where he wasn't necessarily the playmaker. He had to play more of a game manager role. I think it'd be a great fit in LA if he's there.
All right, this team did not win the division last year, Bucky, coming off a couple Super Bowl appearances. The Seattle Seahawks, pick 26, pick 56.
One thing we know, they're always in contention. Their defense has always been able to carry the load. Shifting a little bit offensively, I think there's some things that we can do in the draft to help them. At 26, I'm going to go with Robert Nkemdiche, defensive tackle extraordinaire. In that system, you talk about a hybrid defense that moves around and plays a number of players on the front line. I believe Nkemdiche is a nice fit. Athletic, talented, a guy that flashes disruptive potential. Hasn't necessarily done it consistently throughout his time at Ole Miss, but I just kind of believe there's something in the water up there that will kind of get him going strong. Locker room, a lot of alpha dogs in there. I think you can get him going in the right direction. Pete Carroll loves to take chances on those kind of guys. I think he'd be a great fit. And then in 56 in the second round, I understand their problems at offensive tackle, so I'm going to give them a long, rangy guy in LaRaven Clark from Texas Tech. Length, you can put him in at left tackle. He has the long arms to kind of stalemate some of those elite rushers on the edge. And I know there's some issues with him necessarily as a run blocker. Can he get pushed? Can he do some of the things? Can he handle some of the finesse players on the edges? But I just like that fit, and I know they're desperately in need of a tackle. I'm going to give him there because I think he should be there and available at 56.
Yeah, well, I don't know if he's going to be there at 56, Bucky. And I don't have him in my top 50, so I'm not the biggest LaRaven Clark fan, but I do recognize his traits with the length and the quickness and all that. His pro day, I guess, was unbelievable. And I talked to a bunch of people around the league, and what I'm getting back is be more surprised if he goes in the third round than if he goes in the first round.
Wow.
So I was like, okay, all right. Well, I said, he's going to go in the top of the second round at worst case scenario.
Top of the second round. And if you really look at it, they're the big four at offensive tackle. The guys that we always talk about, the Deckers, the Conklins, Stanley, and then Tunsil. And then after that, it's kind of a hodgepodge of what you
Betty
like. And then you talk about traits. And so if you look at the physical traits, long arms, the size, those things, like some people believe that they can teach them the short set and maybe stalemate guys and then depending on what system he goes to, the ball can come out before it can be a problem.
Yeah, he's got some freakish length there. All right, team that won the division, though, the Arizona Cardinals. They picked 29 and 92. Remember, they got no second-round pick because of the Chandler Jones trade, which I think, by the way, is a heck of a second-round pick.
Great pick for them.
So at pick number 29, this team has invested in the offensive line recently, and I think they go back and double down here. Ryan Kelly, center from Alabama, who I think is the best center prospect in the entire draft, somebody that can come in right away, day one, start, stabilize the interior of that offensive line. You've got Iapati next to him, and they went out and signed I forget it. Why do I forget?
Evan Mathis.
Evan Mathis. I forget his name every single time. I was with him in Philadelphia. Evan Mathis there as well. So I think they really, really take care of the guts of their offensive line with this pick. I'm a big fan of Ryan Kelly. Then come back in the third round, and this is, look, the ultimate wild card pick in this draft.
Yes.
Cardale Jones. So you want a big arm passer. I know they tried it with Logan Thomas. It did not work out. Cardale's a better passer than Logan Thomas is. And I think in round number 3, big, physical, can push the ball vertically down the field like Arians likes to do. I think you've got a nice project to work with. Hopefully you get Carson Palmer a couple more years and you give Cardale time to develop. I think it might be worth the risk there.
I'm going to be honest with you. I think that's a great pick. I think it's a great value. And I really can't understand a lot of the maybe criticism with Cardale Jones maybe falling to the 6th round, because when you look at the talent, there's a lot of talent. There are all the traits that you look for at the quarterback position. A lot of things are working. And then he's undefeated. Like, say what you want to about what happened at Ohio State. He was 11-0 when he took snaps as a starting quarterback. And so I think there's some value in that. Is he a polished player? No. But I certainly would be willing to take a third-round pick on him and see if I could get something out of him.
All right, that's the NFC West.